All right, next question. How do you narrow your college list without second guessing every decision? Second guessing is almost always a symptom of building the list backwards. Most families start with prestige. Here are the best schools. Which one should my student apply to? And then try to justify the choices afterward. That process produces anxiety because prestige rankings don't give you a framework for making decisions. They just give you more things to compare. The framework that I recommend using and the framework that I use with families has 4 filters, and they can be applied to this order. First, likelihood of admission. Be honest about where your student is academically relative to the school's admitted student profile. Not pessimistic, not optimistic, but honest. Divide the list into reach, target, and likely based on the data, not hope. A list with usually 8 reaches and 2 targets. That kind of list is not a balanced list. It's an anxiety machine, but a lot of people do that. Now, second pillar here is fit for what your student actually wants to study. Not the major name, the specific resources. Like, does the school have the research opportunities your student wants, the specific department, the professors in their area of interest? A school that is perfect on paper for one major may be mediocre for another. The third point to consider is why us? Think about that. That's the why us test. If your student cannot write a specific, genuine why us essay for a school, if the best they can do is it's a great school, that school probably isn't a genuine fit. Remove it. The inability to write that essay is diagnostic. And then lastly, outcome fit. Where does this school's alumni network concentrate? What does the typical graduate do when they get out of school? Like, does that align with where your student wants to go? So run every school through these 4 filters and the list narrows itself. The ones that survive all 4 are your real list. The ones that fall out at filter 1 or 2 are probably always like prestige choice, not genuine fits. I've watched families agonize over this list for months because they were using the wrong framework. Like, when you have to write 4 filters and you apply them honestly, the list builds itself. The schools that survive all 4 are the ones worth the application energy, which is a lot. The ones that don't were always like prestige choices dressed up as strategic ones. And just a last note on this, when second guessing happens, which it will, come back to the framework. The question isn't, is this a great school? The question is, does this school pass all 4 filters? And that's a much easier question to answer. And just to summarize again, the 4 filters is 1, the likelihood of admission, 2, fit for what your student actually wants to study. Third is the why us test. And fourth is the outcome fit.